and global expansion have caught even the biggest names off guard. What was once seen as a regional player is now a full-blown global disruptor, and not everyone is handling it well. Industry response: shock, scramble, and strategy. Let's start with Tesla. In late May 2025, just days after BYD's price cuts and free self-driving announcement, Tesla's stock dropped nearly 7%. Investors saw the writing on the wall. Tesla, once the clear leader in EV tech, was suddenly being undercut, not just on price, but on features. Elon Musk's company still holds strong appeal in the West, but BYD's momentum is forcing Tesla to rethink its strategy. Tesla has begun quietly testing lower-cost models and faster software updates, but it's clear the pressure is on. Legacy automakers like Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford are feeling the squeeze too. For years, they played catch-up in the EV race, investing billions into electrification. Now, just as they're getting up to speed, BYD has moved the finish line. Its ability to produce high-quality EVs at low prices is something traditional automakers simply can't match, at least not yet. Why? Because most of them still rely on external suppliers for batteries, chips, and software, while BYD builds almost everything in-house. The Chinese market has turned into a battleground. Companies like Geely, Great Wall Motors, and NIO are fighting to stay relevant. After BYD launched its deep price cuts and trade-in offers, some rivals tried to follow, but it backfired. Stocks fell, profit margins shrank, and analysts started warning of a price war that could cripple smaller players. One government report even compared the situation to a potential Evergrande-style collapse, referencing the infamous real estate meltdown. That's how serious it's gotten. Outside of China, regulators are watching closely too. In Europe, there's growing concern about the flood of cheap, tech-loaded Chinese EVs. The EU has already launched investigations into whether Chinese EVs are being unfairly subsidized, and if tariffs should be raised. In the US, discussions about protecting the domestic auto industry have heated up, especially with elections looming. The fear isn't just about losing market share, it's about falling behind in innovation. Analysts are split. Some call BYD's strategy brilliant, a masterclass in how to dominate a market through vertical integration and smart scale. Others warn it's risky, especially if profits start to shrink. But everyone agrees on one thing: BYD is setting the pace. Whether competitors like it or not, the rules of the game are being rewritten. The auto world isn't just watching BYD anymore. It's reacting, scrambling, and trying to keep up. And for the first time in a long while, it's clear China isn't following the automotive future, it's leading it. However, BYD might stumble because of serious problems. Cracks in the electric giant's armor. BYD may be leading the electric vehicle revolution, but it's not without serious weaknesses. Beneath the company's explosive growth and record-breaking sales lies a growing list of financial, operational, and reputational cracks that could slow or even derail its global rise. One of the most pressing concerns is BYD's financial structure. While the company appears unstoppable on the surface, analysts have flagged a troubling reality underneath: rising debt, razor-thin margins, and hidden liabilities. Following BYD's aggressive price cuts in May 2025, financial experts raised red flags about its ability to sustain such discounting. According to a Financial Times investigation, BYD is operating with a working capital deficit of over 125 renminbi billion, while relying heavily on supply chain financing to mask short-term cash strain. That includes extended payment cycles, reportedly up to 260 days, and at least $44 billion in liabilities that aren't immediately visible on its books. The company is moving fast, but it's running hot, and in a downturn, that financial model could snap under pressure. Reputation is another area where BYD has stumbled, particularly on the global stage. In Brazil, where BYD is building a massive manufacturing hub, authorities launched an investigation in 2025 into what they described as slavery-like labor conditions. Over 160 Chinese workers allegedly had their passports confiscated and were housed in poor conditions, leading to a scandal that drew international outrage and temporarily froze worker visa approvals. For a company that wants to be seen as a global leader, incidents like this damage more than just PR. They shake trust. Quality control is another concern that has followed BYD into export markets. In late 2024, the company issued a major recall affecting nearly 100,000 vehicles, including popular models like the Dolphin and Yuan Plus, due to defects in the power steering system that posed fire risks. Despite the company's Blade battery being touted as ultra-safe, some real-world incidents have contradicted that image. In one case, a BYD Han EV caught fire just 2 days after crash testing, raising eyebrows about the consistency between lab results and reality. For buyers, technical innovation alone isn't enough. After-sales service and reliability matter, too. Across forums and review sites, owners have reported a troubling number of usability issues. Complaints include buggy infotainment systems, poor user interface design, slow software updates, and range claims that don't hold up in real-world driving. In one well-documented case, a BYD Dolphin owner in Australia described their vehicle failing at highway speeds due to a battery malfunction, only to find that key driving data had been mysteriously erased before support teams could analyze it. Others complain of month-long delays for parts, language barriers in software menus, and frustrating account setups that leave features locked or inaccessible. Perhaps the most unsettling concern is cybersecurity. The industry earthquake nobody saw coming. How BYD changed everything. The sheer scale and audacity of BYD's global expansion have caught even the biggest names in the automotive world completely off guard. What was once brushed aside as a regional Chinese automaker has now evolved into a full-blown global disruptor, rewriting the rules, setting the pace, and forcing the entire industry into reactive mode. And make no mistake, not everyone is handling it well. Tesla feels the shockwave. Let's begin with the most high-profile victim of this seismic shift, Tesla. In late May 2025, mere days after BYD announced not only drastic price cuts but also rolled out free lifetime self-driving on selected models, Tesla's stock nosedived by nearly 7%. That wasn't just a market fluke, it was a panic response. Investors saw the writing on the wall. For the first time in years, Tesla wasn't the disruptor. It was being disrupted. And not just on cost. Tesla's brand has long stood for cutting-edge technology, premium EV performance, and bold vision. But BYD suddenly wasn't just undercutting prices, it was undercutting on features. From full-stack autonomous driving and AI-powered cockpits to multi-screen panoramic displays and vehicle-to-load capabilities, BYD models began offering technology that even Tesla hadn't fully rolled out. Elon Musk's empire, while still dominant in Western markets, now faces a rival from the East with scale, speed, and a level of vertical integration that Tesla hasn't achieved. Tesla has since begun quietly testing lower-cost Model 2 prototypes and accelerating its software update pipeline. But the pressure is on. For the first time in a long while, Tesla is not leading the race, it's chasing legacy giants in panic mode. The ripple effects haven't spared the old guard either. Companies like Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, and General Motors, who have invested billions into catching up on EV tech, are now watching as the goalposts shift once again. Just when they thought they were finally closing the gap, BYD moved the finish line. How? BYD doesn't just assemble cars. It builds almost everything in-house. Batteries, chips, motors, infotainment systems, even semiconductors. This vertical dominance allows BYD to do what legacy players can't: move faster, innovate cheaper, and scale globally without being bottlenecked by external suppliers. For the likes of Toyota and VW, who still rely on sprawling supplier networks and legacy production models, BYD's agility is terrifying. China's domestic battlefield, price wars, and collapsing margins. Inside China, the market has become a brutal battleground. After BYD's aggressive price cuts and trade-in offers, Competitors like Geely, NIO, and Great Wall tried to keep up, but many of their responses backfired. Stock prices tumbled. Margins collapsed. Some automakers are now operating at a loss just to stay in the game. One leaked government report even compared the situation to a potential Evergrande-style collapse for automakers, a chilling reminder of how fragile rapid growth can become in a competitive, debt-fueled ecosystem. Europe and the US push back. And it's not just automakers that are reacting. Governments are watching, too, nervously. In Europe, concerns are mounting over the flood of cheap, high-tech Chinese EVs. The European Union has already launched formal investigations into whether Chinese manufacturers like BYD are benefiting from unfair state subsidies and whether tariffs should be raised to level the playing field. In the US, the discussion has turned political. With elections looming, debates over economic security and technological sovereignty are heating up. Some lawmakers are pushing for tighter regulations or even bans on certain Chinese EV brands, arguing that it's not just about trade, it's about national security and innovation dominance. The cracks beneath the surface. But BYD's rise is not without fault lines. Beneath the thunderous growth, there are growing whispers of trouble. Financial analysts have raised red flags about the company's internal finances. After slashing prices in 2025, BYD's razor-thin margins became unsustainable. A Financial Times investigation revealed a working capital deficit of more than 125 billion renminbi, along with hidden liabilities through supply chain financing models that stretch payment cycles up to 260 days. In other words, BYD may be operating like a high-speed train, fast, sleek, and relentless, but it's running hot. If global markets slow down or cash flow falters, that train could derail. Global scandals and reputational hits. Beyond balance sheets, BYD is also grappling with reputational blows. In Brazil, where it is building a mega factory, authorities opened an investigation into slavery-like conditions. Reports emerged of over 160 Chinese workers having their passports seized and being housed in substandard conditions, igniting international outrage and prompting visa approvals to be frozen. For a company striving to be a symbol of global innovation, this wasn't just a PR disaster, it was a warning signal. Public trust doesn't come from technology alone. It comes from ethics, transparency, and responsibility. And BYD still has work to do. Quality and safety concerns. In late 2024, BYD issued a massive recall of nearly 100,000 vehicles, including bestsellers like the Dolphin and Yuan Plus, due to power steering defects that pose fire risks. While BYD boasts about its ultra-safe Blade battery, real-world incidents, like a Han EV catching fire just 48 hours after crash testing, have cast doubt. Buyers across the globe have reported bugs, glitchy software, slow updates, and frustrating customer service. Forums are flooded with complaints about poor UI, locked features, and driving range that doesn't match advertising. Cybersecurity, a quiet alarm bell. Perhaps most concerning is the cybersecurity issue. Governments in Australia, Israel, and the US have raised alarms over BYD vehicles potentially transmitting audio from inside the cabin via onboard SIM cards. Israel has even paused certain imports until stronger privacy safeguards are in place. In an era where vehicles are effectively rolling computers, trust in data integrity is paramount. If consumers start to question whether their cars are listening to them or reporting to third parties, BYD could face a backlash even more powerful than a price war. Overexpansion and model overload. BYD's breakneck pace of global expansion is also raising eyebrows. It has launched multiple brands, Dynasty, Ocean, Yangwang, Fangchengbao, each with their own lineups, platforms, and software stacks. While this shows ambition, it also risks confusion and instability. Can BYD maintain service quality across dozens of markets with such a vast portfolio? Will parts be available? Will software updates keep pace? These are questions buyers and regulators are starting to ask. The big question, can BYD handle the heat? For all its momentum, BYD is now facing its most difficult challenge, surviving its own success. The company has redrawn the map, shattered expectations, and sparked a revolution. But its future depends not just on speed, it depends on stability, trust, and long-term support. If BYD can patch its weaknesses, improve customer support, stabilize its financial structure, and regain trust globally, it won't just rival Tesla or Toyota. It will redefine what the global auto industry looks like. But if it stumbles, even slightly, the consequences will be just as massive. The verdict: a future still in motion. BYD's rise is breathtaking, but it's also precarious. The auto world is no longer watching BYD. They are reacting to it, scrambling, strategizing, and in some cases, panicking. For the first time, the automotive future isn't being shaped in Detroit, Tokyo, or Silicon Valley. It's being written in Shenzhen.